coming to Accra to get that type of woman, forget about it. I'm gonna have to hire a bodyguard at some point, I'm sure. They're not as easy to find because there is a lot of trash. The city started getting stronger. A lot of Ghanaian guys were really happy because the women here want you to treat them like a queen. No Ghanaian man wants to be seen as weak when it comes to his household. If you're coming here and you're picking women based on their looks, you're expected to do her nails, you're expected to get her lashes done, you're expected to get her hair done. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but have their real boyfriend while they have you. Because some families can really be a huge influence on relationships. Hey guys, welcome back. All right, today's video was special request, so I decided to grant your wish. Today's video is about dating Ghanaian women and what that's like. Now, obviously I did do a video where I spoke about, you know, coming to Ghana and finding your African prince and what that entailed. If you haven't checked out that video, do check it out. It was a great video. People loved it. Some people disagreed with me, as usual. But, you know, on the whole, it was a pretty good video. It was taken well. So today I'm going to do it on the other side, right? In fairness. And I feel like, you know, both sides, men and women, need to hear, you know, both sides. So what's it like dating Ghanaian women in Ghana? Now, if you are coming to Ghana because you want to get yourself this typical Ghanaian woman who's going to be submissive, who's going to treat you like a king, who's going to do all the wonderful things and completely going to be at your beck and call, then go to the village. Go to the village. Why am I saying go to the village? Because if you're coming to Accra to get that type of woman, forget about it. One thing about Accra is like Accra is the capital. Accra is where like all the exposure has happened, okay? All the bad habits have been learned in Accra. If you want a particular type of girl, then like that, who's submissive and doesn't know any better, who's going to be naive, because to some extent, if you want someone who's going to cater to your every need and not have an opinion, then you have to go to the village because there's, you know, not every village, not everywhere. Let me just put that disclaimer in there, right? But there hasn't been a lot of exposure there. So therefore, people are still they can be very naive, okay? In some villages somewhere where they choose to do that on purpose because they don't want the place to be spoiled. Then you have to go and get that kind of person. You know, it works the same as when you're looking for house help sometimes. Sometimes it's better to not get someone from Accra. Sometimes, in fact, the majority of the time, people would prefer to go get someone from the village and bring them and train them because they don't have the same eyes that Accra girls have. And I have to be careful in how I'm speaking here because some of you, I'm gonna have to hire a bodyguard at some point, I'm sure. Anyway, so I'm joking, by the way. So Accra girls have their eyes open. The kind of girl that some people are seeking don't really exist like that in Accra. I'm sorry, I've got a really itchy nose because I think it's that season, like pollen. Anyway. Accra girls have had their eyes open to certain things. So the naive girl that you think that you're coming to get, who you think that you can train to your way of thinking, doesn't necessarily exist like that here anymore. Now, I'm not saying Accra girls are bad. I'm not saying that. But they are no longer, how do I say this? They're no longer just going to do what you tell them to do without questioning certain things. And it's not for free. I'm trying to choose my words carefully here, okay? So let's go to dating. Now, if you come here and you start dating a Ghanaian girl, there is no such thing as 50-50 when you go out to eat. It's your responsibility as a man to pay for that meal and pay for everything else that she needs. She may even require you to buy certain things before she will even think about going on that date with you. A lot of Ghanaian girls will tell you, like, what are you going to do for me before I get to that date? And that's not them saying, okay, well, I'm gonna, they're gonna give up the goodies or anything like that. No, they're just for their simple presence, that's how some of them are. They are going to be like that. You know, they have wised up to the fact that men come here, they take advantage of them, they walk away, and they're just left, right? And so they're no longer tolerating that kind of behavior. So they want to make sure that they get something out of it. They want some type of fair exchange. So if you want to get a Ghanaian girl, you're going to have to cough up some things. You'll be surprised the things that they can ask for. They may ask you, my phone is broken. They might ask you straight up for cash. They might ask you, they can ask you for anything. You might have to be feeding them constantly, even when you're not, you have to be feeding. Like, there are so many different things that can be asked for. I know, I've seen it, right? That's just how it goes here. And that doesn't mean if you pick a girl like that, that she's not going to be a good wife. That's just kind of like how it is here, okay? So I just want to, first of all, burst your bubble as to the kind of girl that you think you can just walk into when you come to Ghana. I'm not saying that there aren't good girls. There are women here that are very good and they will meet all the needs that you want. You know, all they want is just respect. There are women here that are like that. All they want is respect. You can find them, but they're not as easy to find because there is a lot of trash. There are women that they think too highly of themselves. You know, the culture that we sometimes see in America, in the UK, when it comes to women, it's also here in Ghana too. But here, I would say that it probably is perceived worse because the things that they will ask for are like, what do you mean? Like, I don't even know you. I haven't barely even known you like 24 hours and you're asking me for all these things. Again, because of poverty, right? Sometimes because of poverty. And sometimes because they feel that that's, well, I need to see that you can take care of me. You know, some of these people have that expectation where they're like that. So they will demand certain things from you. You know, they will want to go to restaurants that they themselves can't afford, but you as the man should be able to afford for them. So they want to go to places, certain restaurants, expensive restaurants like Kozo. They've probably never even been there in their life, but they want to go because they've heard about Kozo and they know it's expensive, so that's where they want you to take them. You know, so you have to be prepared for those things. You know, something that's happening right now is that Ghanaians have said that, all right, let me just backtrack a little bit. You know, when the city started getting stronger, a lot of Ghanaian guys were really happy because they feel like those men from the West are coming and taking all their women and they're being left with nothing, because their women are being swept up because of the currency exchange. They have this unfair advantage. So as things started to stable, the Ghanaian men became like really happy that this thing is happening because now they can get some of their women back. Because the women, you have to give them something. In Ghana, women don't necessarily do things for free. And I'm not talking about sexually, I'm just saying they don't go on dates for free like that. It's not, you have to treat them very well before they will even entertain you sometimes, you know. And that is not even, I'm going to say something. And that is not even just Ghanaian girls. I'd say that it's filtered to women who have even come from the West and are here too. Women that have come from the West and are here also expect some of that too. I'm not saying that, oh, they're going to ask you for an iPhone. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, like, you have to treat them in a certain way. Like, some women, they will get your driver to come and pick me up. You know, like, there's certain things that you have to do to get that type of woman because that's the culture. So that's kind of like how it's expected. And the reason it's like that is because Ghanaian men can be very gentlemanly. They want to look after their women. Ghanaian men do look after their women, I'm telling you. Obviously, you get the odd occasion where, you know, there are men that abuse certain things. They just, you know, they over-dominate and things like that, right? But on the whole, for most Ghanaian guys are good guys, right? They will want to treat their woman well. Yes, they might cheat. They might have side chicks, all of that stuff, right? But when it comes to their wife is their wife. Even if they have side chicks, right? That's side chicks. They will still treat their woman with care. They want their woman looking a certain way. They will provide all the things necessary for their woman to be in good standing, to represent them. And so women have become accustomed to that's how it is here, right? So they want that. They want that from you who's come, especially you who's come from the West. You've come from the West. Oh no, then you have to definitely fall into line. You have to do certain things. Now, she's not necessarily going to take you to her parents, because if a woman takes you to her parents, that's a big statement. So that doesn't necessarily happen. So she's kind of figuring you out too. So she wants to see what you can do for her. So if you're coming and you're only going to be here for a few weeks, she's going to see how much you can get from you during that time, so that when you do go back, she wants to see if the relationship can continue. And you're expected to do some of that. So some of these things, you have to take your role on and be a traditional man in that sense, right? No one here ain't looking for no 50-50. The women here want you to treat them like a queen. They want to feel special. They want to feel exclusive to you. So you have to provide them certain things. That's what they're looking for, you know. So if you want submission, you can get that, but you're going to pay for that, okay? So once you're able to pay for those things, you can get a particular type of woman. And that's, again, it's not to say that that woman is going to... she's only waiting to see it, and then afterwards she's going to just dry up and then she's not interested anymore. That doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, that doesn't mean that she's using you for a passport or whatever, you know, she wants her green card or whatever. That doesn't necessarily mean that. It's just that there are certain things that she's going to expect from you, because in Ghana, the culture very much is, if you take a woman from her family, you have to be able to take care of her. And whether that level is on the level that she was with her family or not, she may want an upgrade, and that's the upgrade that you're going to have to provide for her. Ghanaian women are great. They really are great. They can treat you like the king, that in exactly how you want to be treated. But you have to treat them like a queen as well. They want certain things from you. Now, some of these women have wisened up, they've sharpened up to the fact that they can also get used, and that's why they will require certain things for you. Sometimes they know what the deal is. They know that you're coming there to have your fun, and you're not going to take them seriously. You're not going to marry them. So they want to make sure that they get something out of this time too. So they will require certain things from you. Now, if you can get past that, where you can say and let the person know that, no, you actually really want a long-term relationship with that person, then things will start to ease up, right? Then now it's more about, okay, how are you going to provide for her, but not in an excessive way. Now she's more willing to be more reasonable as to the things that she wants and needs from you as a man, because in Ghana, the man takes the lead. The man is the provider, okay? So yes, women do go out to work here and all of that, but ultimately it's the man's responsibility to take care of the home, and that is very, very strong here. No Ghanaian man wants to be seen as weak when it comes to his household. So they expect the man to be able to hold it down. She's not going to be going to work and you as the man are going to be sit down at home and say that you're looking after the children, that's your job. That's not going to happen. She wants a particular type of man that she can be proud of. So she wants to see those characteristics from you. Now, if you go to the village and you think, okay, well, I'm going to go to the village and I'm going to get this ideal woman that I want, right? Because she's going to be submissive, you know, she's not going to require a lot from me. You can go and get those women like that, but you have to be able to, and I don't like this word, train, but you're going to have to train her to some extent, right? Because there's a lot of things that she hasn't had exposure to. There's a lot of things that she doesn't know. So you're going to have to bring her up to speed. And I remember this story once. I can't remember where it came from, but, you know, this person from the village, they don't know how to make tea. And so I think the person was taken to the UK or something like that. And she was asked to go and make tea. So when she went to make tea, instead of boiling the kettle, she just put the tap on hot and ran the tap until it was hot enough and used that to make the tea. You know, I mean, that's just a silly example, but these are the kind of things that I want you to be able to understand. There are some women that haven't had exposure to certain things. So that's the kind of level that you're going to have to help them at, okay? They may not even be trained, some of them, in things that we consider normal hygiene. They may not see it as normal hygiene. So you're going to have to you're going to have to try your best to show them that it's not done like that, it's done like this. So you're going to have patience. You're going to have a level of care about you. You're going to have to really want that relationship, because it's not going to be an easy one. It's one that you're going to have to work at. You go get yourself a girl from the village, or you get one from Accra. Now, if you get a girl from Accra, then you have to be able to level out that whole thing of, this is what I want. So if you're coming to Ghana and you're just coming to date and have fun, you can't do it. That's not happening for free. They're not just going to walk away with a free meal. They're going to want other things from you, okay? You're going to have to treat them really, really well in order for them to entertain you. That's just the truth, in order for them to entertain you. Like I said, you can get women who are wife material. There are tons of them. There are tons of women. You'll see it for yourself. There are Black Americans, Black British men that have come, got wives here, really good Ghanaian women who have helped them build businesses, helped them build empires, have done amazing things for them. And I have to keep saying this. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but you're going to have to sort through a lot of trash before you get to those women, because some women want a particular thing. That's what I'm saying. There has to be some type of equal match here, where you find some common ground between the two of you, where it's not just one-sided, right? So it's almost like you have to, in order to be able to break that, you have to show the level of seriousness that you're bringing to this woman. And again, the reason why some women are so defensive about some of these things is because they have been taken advantage of by people so many times. There was a stage in Ghana where this whole cappuccino baby was a thing. And what was happening is that there were a lot of white men and some black guys that were coming, impregnating Ghanaian women, and then just flying out the country and leaving them with a baby. And so people have seen these things, and because of that, it has made it harder for men who come here and actually have good intentions of, I just want to find my soulmate, I want to find a person I can build with. So because of that, you have all this trash in the way, where now women are not seeing it. They've seen what's happened. This woman, their neighbor who's now been left with this child, and the man has gone back to his country and left her with a child that she can't even support, that can't be me. That can't be me. Like, I'm not doing that. So they're going to be careful. And so they're making sure that they have put provisions in line for themselves so that they don't fall into that trap. So yes, there are going to be a lot of women that are going to waste your time. You're going to, especially if you're coming here for looks. Now let's just touch on that. If you're coming here and you're picking women based on their looks, that's going to be your first downfall, because Ghanaian women can look good. They have great, amazing body types. I mean, even me, sometimes I look at them and I have to double take. I'm like, that woman has got the one powerful body. You know, they know how to work their bodies, right? They know how to do themselves up. They know, like, some of these women are very, very high spec. But if you're coming here and you're looking for a woman that is of that spec, then know that you have to maintain that spec as well. You're expected to do her nails. You're expected to get her lashes done. You're expected to get her hair done. You're expected to do certain things. Now, if you want to be more realistic, then be more mindful about the kind of woman that you're going for, okay? Don't go for a woman that is overly cosmetic. You can see that she likes certain things. She likes a lot of clothes. She likes a lot of makeup. Every time you see her, she's got a wig on. And that's not a disrespect to anybody that wears wigs. Every time you see her, she's like that. You know that that's the upkeep that you have to have. So be realistic when you're coming here and you're coming to get these women, because they're not necessarily, it's not like the West where a woman may look like that, but she can hold her own. And so she's not necessarily expecting you to be able to provide her all for her. But if you're coming to get a Ghanaian woman like that, if she's like that, that's now your responsibility to upkeep her in that way, to keep her in that same standing as how you picked her up. And that's one of the reasons that dowry is in place, right? Dowry is not there just for the family to say, okay, well, yes, I want this because I want money from him. I want this, I want this. It's not necessarily that. It's there to show that a man can actually be able to provide all the things that this woman is going to need. So therefore, if they give you a list of all these things that's on the dowry and you can't pay, you can't have her, because it means that you don't have the financial means to be able to look after her. Now, whether or not some of these things are realistic in the dowry or not, this is what they require. because that's how they value their daughter. So that's what you're required to pay for. So in my opinion, my personal opinion, I think dowry is a very good thing. And I wish for myself that I had forced the issue and said, yeah, like you have to do dowry, because then things pop up that you maybe didn't see before. Oh, he can't do dowry. Like, and some people don't even ask for dowry, and it's ridiculous. It's not even like that much. And if they can't do that, then they shouldn't have you as a woman. Because my belief is that if you're coming to take me, you have to be able to provide me with some type of lifestyle. I'm not coming to struggle. I'm not doing struggle love. I'm just speaking real here. I'm not doing struggle love. So if you're coming to me with poverty, I don't want it. Please keep it. I don't want it. And I'm not saying that that means that I can only date rich men. I'm not saying that. I'm willing to do my part, but I don't want to struggle in this relationship. I don't want to live a life of, now I'm going to have to be the breadwinner and that's how my life is going to be for the rest of my life. Like, I'm not doing that. Been there, done that. I'm not doing that again, you know? And so that's what women are seeing. They're like, well, that's what the dowry's for. If you're coming to pick this woman, then make sure that you can pay the bride price for her. And, you know, look at the characteristics. One of the things I would say as well is look at the characteristics of the family too. Look at what kind of family background that she comes for before you take her and marry her, right? Are her family greedy? Because some families can really be a huge influence on relationships. Let's be honest. They can start demanding so stupid things. And because of the culture of how Ghana is, the woman feels obliged to be able to keep up with some of these things. Like some of these, you can only have to watch 90 Day Fiancé and see some of the things that they go through, some of the responsibilities that that man has taken on because this is the woman that he's chosen, because she's very, very into her culture, and therefore it's not me and you, it's me and my family. It's me, you, and my family. And that's what you're taking on. So you have to be careful the type of woman that you're going to, like, there's a lot to look at. You can't just say, okay, I'm coming to Ghana to get a woman and I just want her to be beautiful and I want her to be submissive. No. You have to look at a lot more things. You have to really look at her character and look at the kind of people that she hangs about with. I mean, some of this is common across the board things, right? Look at the kind of people that she hangs around with to be able to see her true character and not the one that she's just displaying to you because you're standing in front of her. Because, as I said, poverty is a real thing here. Nobody wants to stay in poverty, so they want to make sure that they get a good life. And some women who have come from poverty, they will do their best for you. They will treat you like a king because they know what they're getting. There are women that are like that will treat you how you deserve to be treated, as long as you're also treating them fair. It's an equal exchange, but that's not all the time. And you have to hunt these people out. So don't be so quick to come here on your 2-week holiday and pick up a woman and say, yep, this is the woman for me. Don't be silly. Like, vet these people properly, vet these women, because some women are in it for what they're in it for and they know what they want. So as a man, have your wits about you. Now, I'm going to say some things that maybe are going to sound very negative, but I'm saying them with the best of intentions, okay? Some women will be with you just for money. Some women will use you for a green card. Some women will see you as their way out of every single issue that is wrong with them in this world. Some women will have their real boyfriend while they have you. It's a thing. Let's not pretend it's not. It is a thing. That's why I said, if you're coming here to pick up a woman and you want to be serious, I'm not talking about coming here and having fun, one-night stands and all that nonsense that some of you people like to do. I'm not talking about that. But if you're coming here and you really want a wife, then you're not going to find her in certain places. I was going to say the club, but that's not necessarily fair because I go to the club. So that's not necessarily a fair statement. Okay, you can find good women. There are good women out there that are like that. But what I'm saying, when I say, okay, you can't find a good woman in the club, I'm using that as an analogy rather than an actual club, right? So what I mean is, find women that are in wholesome, that you know that their lifestyle is wholesome, right? And if you think that, oh, well, then I'll just go to church and pick up a woman, right? That might not work for you either. Because, I'm going to say something. Because when it comes to church women, sometimes because religion in Ghana is so heavily dominated, there are some women that say, oh God, please, I beg you, take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt. They say, I'm a godly woman, but all the things that they do not present godly women. And they do that because the culture of Ghana is that you go to church on Sundays. Sundays, nothing really functions until the afternoon because everybody's in church. That's how it is. And so if your game plan is saying, okay, well, I'm going to come to Ghana, I'm going to go to church and pick up a woman that way, that might not work. Maybe the club is going to be better for you because you're going to get a real version of somebody. Whether that's good or bad, you get the real version of what that person is. So coming to Ghana is not necessarily an easy thing to come and find a wife. That's not necessarily an easy thing. There are a lot of weeds that you're going to sort through. But when you do find a flower, it's going to be the most beautifulest flower that you've seen. Because Ghanaian women, they believe in cooking for their men. They believe in looking after their men. They believe in treating their men in certain ways. They're going to give you a lot of things that some women from the West may not give you or may not want to give you. They're going to treat you in a particular way because that's how they have been raised to be. A lot of women here have been raised to be wives. Therefore, they have a different outlook on life and how things should be. So once you find that woman, hold on to her and treat her well. Don't treat her badly. Because once you start treating her badly, she wants to get out. And that's going to be a problem. So, and when I say treat her nicely, that doesn't mean you have to be spending money on her. It doesn't mean that. It just means treat her nicely with respect. There has to be respect in the relationship. Now, if you go and you get a woman who likes money, she may still treat you nicely. She may still treat you in the way that you want. She may be submissive. She may do all the things for you. She may cook and do all those things. But because you've picked up a woman who likes money, right, you best make sure that you're able to maintain that because once that money disappears, she is gone. Because she knows the kind of lifestyle that she wants. So you have to be careful of what it is that you're coming to get when you come here, right? And some of this advice is across the board and it can relate to all women, right? Well, not all women. It can relate to women across the board. That's what I mean. Okay. So if you know that this woman likes certain luxuries, if you have... if she's now inclined to those things, make sure you can maintain that lifestyle for her because that's part of her character. You know that this woman doesn't hustle and she's not going to hustle. If you become broke, she's going to leave you. We've seen it. Let's not pretend. We've seen it so many times. That's how it is here. And being in Ghana makes it no different. You're still going to get women that are like that. The minute your money drops, they're gone to the next person. And that doesn't mean that they haven't or they won't treat you well in the relationship. They will, but you have to afford them the lifestyle that they have experienced for a very long time. So just be mindful of some of those things, okay? So there is no one way that I can say to you, okay, this is the best way to get a woman. I would say if you're coming here to find a wife, take your time. Take your time in really vetting the person and making sure that both of you know what it is that you want and both of you are on the same page in terms of your goals. What is it you want? Be very clear. This is not a time where you can come and mess about, yeah? Be very clear on what you want from this relationship. Do you want the person to work? Do you want... I don't know, whatever it is, make that clear early on in your relationship so that you don't waste time with this person because the person may not be willing. Because of the culture that Ghana is, there's certain things where she'll be like, no, I don't want to do that, I'm a woman. She may say that. Not every woman will say that. Times are changing in Ghana where women are becoming more liberal, but for the most part, it's not. Ghana is a male-dominated society. Men are seen in a certain way, and so therefore, because they're seen in a certain way, all men that come into that society are expected to be the same. So this is what the woman expects from you being a man. So just be careful with what that is. Take your time to vet the person. See what their character is really, really like before you jump in there and fall in love with this person. Just take your time, one step at a time. You're not going to be able to do that on one video. You come to Ghana even 1 month and think, okay, yes, I think this is the person. That doesn't show you anything. That doesn't show you anything, honestly speaking. You have to... And I really don't want this video to be negative because, as I've said several times, there are many good women, but there is a lot of trash here too. There really is. And in order for you to protect yourself, it's better that you lay your cards on the table very early on and let the person know what you want and what you're looking for and what you're going to expect from them. Expectation is everything. So once you've laid that out, let the person show you who they really are before you go and give up your heart to someone, because we've seen it a few times. Ghanaian girls can do this to your heart and don't care. They don't care. That's sorry. Like I said, if you find one of those heartbreakers, then I'm sorry. But like I said, if you find a good woman, you can build an empire with her, because she's going to stick with you, because that's the morals that she's been brought up with. She has good morals from her family. And so she's going to stick with you. She's going to stick with you through the rough times, the ups and downs. She's going to be there with you all the way through all of everything that you go through in life. She's going to be with you until the end, because that is the culture that Ghanaians have. That's what we come from. But it's just unfortunate that, you know, some people have got this overinflated sense of self, and they have believed through social media, I would say, that they are entitled to more than what they're entitled to. And a lot of the bad ways of the West have seeped into Ghana, and so it makes finding a partner a little bit more harder. But that's all I'm going to say on that. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Okay, this video was hard to do. It was hard to do, but there is a lot of truth in there. I know not everybody is going to agree with some of the things that I've said, but I guess I've said what I've said. Take it or leave it. But let me know what you think in the comment section. I'd love to hear what your feedback is. I'd love to hear about experiences that you've had personally, if you've had any. And let's continue talking, okay? If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment, and share this video. Until next time, I am out. Nati Fafa.